we go. Hi, guys. It's Chris, the Natural Progressive, and I have a very, very special guest again. Yes, twice this week. Today, I have Kevin from Black Bear News. If you haven't heard of Black Bear News, well, you're behind the times because Black Bear News is awesome and you need to watch them. Um, so, I would like to introduce you to Kevin. And Kevin, would you please tell me a little bit about your channel, how you got started, and why the name Black Bear News? Does that have to do with California?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I just I don't I love black bears. I love their ferocity and enormity and just kind of like their I don't know. I've never met a black bear like in person. That's not well. I've seen a baby black bear up pretty close, but like not not that close, but pretty close. And but anyways, I like the name. I like the animal. That's yeah, it was something I started a blog a few years ago about climate change, and I didn't. It was kind of very sporadic, and it was I thought I had this idea for a black. I also had so I had a blog, and I thought that black bear, like the idea of a black bear party, like a revolutionary climate change political party, that's actually where the name came from. So I had this whole idea that I was going to start this climate change party. It was all only like climate change was the issue, and all other platforms was, we're going to be below that. And so that was the big idea. And I started kind of making stuff happen. And then I started this, then I started this channel, and that it just became the name of the channel. So that's working.
Yeah. So why did you want to start doing this?
Why did I want to start doing this?
Yeah, why?
Well, I have been aware of what's going on with climate change for a long while. I used to travel the States as a musician. I mean, I still do, but not like full time. And I was aware of climate change, and it was always there in the back of my mind. I actually have a bunch of writing things that I did, over time about climate change and what was going on, but I didn't understand the severity of it until I had seen a Guy McPherson video, which was probably maybe 4 years ago now. I don't know, somewhere around there. And that like knocked me over pretty good. And then I started really like then I started really researching the nuts and bolts, and like Paul Beckwith and it just everyone else, all the scientists, and Natalia Shakova, and like I just became kind of fixated on it, and also very disturbed by it, and also anxious around the news. And so I started the channel just as a way to kind of get out my feelings and my thoughts about it, and to talk about it. And there were so few. There was a number of channels like this. They seem to be growing. Like a lot of people trying to. That's a great thing. But at the time that I started, which was a couple of years ago, there was really only a couple of channels. It was like Hambone, Humpty Dumpty Tribe, and Paul Beckwith, who's doing regular videos. Guy McPherson. There were a lot of Guy McPherson videos out there, but there wasn't that many just people talking about, the issue, the problem. So I thought like, okay, there needs to be more voices, more points of view on this, more, how are people, I don't know. There's a million things to talk about dealing with climate change. There's a political aspect of it. There's the spiritual aspect, the social, the emotional aspect. There's, it's so overwhelming. It's so huge, that not that I think that I'm maybe covering every single thing that could be covered in the subject of climate change, but I like to bring in all the different,
everything adjacent.
Everything adjacent, exactly.
Yes, and I appreciate that, and I just, oh my gosh, you must be so well read after doing it for that many years. Well, you have to, because you're reading it. You're literally reading it.
I am, it's weird. Like after a certain point of, taking in information, it kind of like, it starts falling out because you have too much in there. And so like, I feel like I'm less aware now than I was a few years, because a few years ago I was like, so now I'm kind of like it's overwhelming. So I spent a lot of time kind of like trying to not think about this, because I need a little break. I need some space in my head. And so I don't know. I guess I'm informed. I try to stay informed.
Yeah, you are probably more than you want to be, but at the same time, it's super therapeutic to reach out and talk to people, and then you find out there's other people that actually feel the same way that you're feeling right now with what you're finding out and how scary it is, and actually how devastating it is. So you don't feel so alone. And I think I felt alone my whole entire life because as a child I felt like there was something desperately wrong with the way we were living our lives. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
most of the trauma from the I got attacked on, because I did have 3 kids, so
Right.
people are attacking me for that. It's like, you way to shut down the population topic, just attack the people who are talking about it. Yeah, I had 3 kids. My doctor wouldn't
Yeah.
fix me when I was 22 years old. Sorry. And,
Right.
birth control failed 3 times. I don't know what to tell you, but
Yeah.
don't attack me because I'm bringing up a real issue. And I
Right.
love my kids. And once you have them, you wouldn't give them away for the world.
Well, yeah, and it's also, having children is such a deep biological instinct and drive.
Once you have them, you wouldn't give them away. Sorry, echo going on.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, I know that there are climate scientists and people working around climate change that have children, and they, honestly, if anything, it gives you more impetus to, try and do something
Yeah,
about it.
because it's going to affect them, and they're your kids, and you're the papa bear and the mama bear just wanting to
Right.
protect them with all your might. So
Yeah.
yeah, you are going to be fighting harder than people without kids. If
Yeah.
if you're a caring parent, you would think.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a huge motivation to do something, to make a change, to make a difference, to, um, uh, to care for what we have or what we have left or whatever. And yeah, no, I mean, so that's a really good point and a really good subject, like having kids, overpopulation, or climate change and having children, there, I think it's really important to find. The other reason why I started the channel was to kind of navigate a new way of communicating this problem to people. It's really like, I actually have a problem with like, blah, like just when I talk to just normal people about this, like I have this kind of problem with like, this is the problem and like everything's fucked up and we got to fix it. Just going straight to the like, you're totally stupid. And, like not even close to the truth about it. Right. Like, so you can't talk to people like that. You can't communicate like that. It's just not gonna, I think I posted something on Facebook today that was like, kind of like scary like that. Like, oh, and I immediately was like, okay, it was a link to an article. The article was scary enough. Hopefully people will read it. But I took my commentary down and just like made it much simpler and much more inviting for people to actually like click the link and read the article instead of like,
Yeah, I made that mistake before, commentating too much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Which
Okay,
is,
can I name some of the people that are on here? Or
yes, go for it. If you need to take a break, yeah.
Okay, yeah, take a break. So we have Osama's here.
What's up, Osama? How you doing?
Going South is here. That's cool. I had no idea Going South followed me. Maybe that's one of your. But I watch Going South videos, so
Yeah.
that's awesome. Trev B5. He says check Peter Miller conversations with Guy. Yeah, that's how I found Guy. Those are the best conversations. Peter
Those
Miller.
are, I've watched. I think I watched one of those, but yeah, those are really good, really interesting.
He does like 4 or 5 of them, and Peter Miller was kind of a skeptic, so watching him go through that process was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And having Guy answer all those questions going through it, for
I'm
me,
gonna have to
that
watch
was,
it.
yeah, watch the rest of them. And the last one, Peter Miller challenged other scientists to come on, or in any way
Mhm.
challenge Guy's perspective, or what he's saying. You like
Yeah,
challenge it, challenge his science.
right.
Anybody, challenge all science out there. That is amazing. And no one answered that challenge. I think it was like a month ago. So
Oh, yeah, of course they did. And that's really, and I say this like all the time, that it's, whatever people want to say about Guy McPherson, the science is solid, and he's just using peer reviewed literature,
and
and
he's putting all of them together. And
yeah, and the science is solid, and all the scientists and all the climate communicators and all the people, the journal, everybody is shifting towards Guy McPherson's view. Not
viewpoint,
It's
yeah.
not going the
They
other way.
started over here and they're
Right.
slowly going, oh, well, I can't dispute that. Even Paul
Right.
Beckworth, and he did, oh, shoot, I was watching an interview with him earlier today that he did with, it was Paul Beckworth, Guy, and a new one that I just found out about because of my interview with Guy, uh,
Yeah.
Kevin Hester, that you interviewed.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Hester. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know about him, but he was on the chat, and I heard everyone saying hi to him. He's always welcome, whatever. And I'm like, who is that? So I Googled him
Yeah.
and watched a couple of his videos, and then I found that you had a video with him. So I listened to that while I was driving home today. That was
Right.
really interesting, and I have some stuff I kind of pulled from that for questions. Oh my gosh, there is no way I'm getting through the whole entire giant list of questions or idea topics to talk about today. There's no way, because I want to keep
Okay.
it to an hour, so I don't take up too much of your time. Is that
Okay.
okay? An hour?
That's okay. Yeah. That's about what I have.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Um, but anyway, before we get too far, Independent Outsider is also here. So he is
All right.
moderating for me. So we got to welcome him.
Okay.
And so, Osama, no, it was going south, asking if anyone here is into the XR thing, Extinction Rebellion, and hell yeah, I'm for trying. I have kids. I'm still going to try to do anything we can. How do you feel about
Yeah.
that?
I feel very strongly that we should be doing everything we can. Um, it's funny, like in this day and age, like every politician, every movement, every channel, every voice out there like comes under this like intense scrutiny, right? Like, so,
I know.
Extinction Rebellion, people are like, yeah, Extinction Rebellion, yeah, they're not doing anything, they're just blocking people, got to get yellow vests, and they're like, okay, I agree with both sides, or both paths. Like, I think yellow vesting is what's going on is pretty amazing, and the fact that the mainstream media is squashing that news story, like you hear nothing about the yellow vests. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were blocking links to news stories or videos about the yellow vests, like on wherever, because when it first started happening,
They
I saw
are.
a bunch of. I think they are, because when I first saw it started happening, I saw a bunch about it, and now I haven't seen any in like a few weeks. But then I just saw something today, and they're like, "Hey, here it is, still going on." Like, still, we're into, I don't know how many months of the yellow vest revolt, but I think all of the paths are necessary. The Extinction Rebellion, all of the groups are necessary to not just raise awareness, to ultimately spark, other groups and other people. There's a few movements in the States. The Sunrise Movement is getting, it seems rather tame and mostly about education, but it seems to be at least sparking a conversation, and that's cool. Like, I just did a video. I actually just did a video of my own, which I'm going to upload later. But I think the news around climate change is coming fast and hot, like right now, all over social media and even in the mainstream news. And I think it's getting too big to ignore. And I think I think we've reached a point where a lot of people know, like, hey, we're in trouble. Something needs to happen. And we're not very far away in the States from something going on. And if they start like smearing Bernie Sanders and sidelining all the people all the politicians that are talking about it, if AOC they start messing around and squashing AOC's, voice, excuse me, you're going to have people getting really upset about that. And hopefully not just on Facebook. Hopefully it's not like, oh no, like hopefully people like.
Right. But okay.
I don't think we can do it 2016 again. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but no. What happened in 2016 was so polarizing and so like upsetting to people. And Bernie is now in the race, and if you have him being the front runner or the biggest face or the big leader and the money and leader, obvious Democratic leader of the pack, and they try and run a Biden at us or a Beto at us and try and squash him, people are going to be pissed, and they're not going to, they're looking for backlash if they do something like that. They're not, I think they think that if they do that, then everything's going to be fine, and we can just, corporate den forever.
Person in that will do our bidding for us, like, right. I know they're thinking that way, and Tulsi Gabbard, they're going to do the same thing as Bernie, but and this is exactly why. Yeah, they already are. This is exactly why I am very, very hesitant to believe that we're going to get anything done through the government or through voting, because they're not going to. They are ran by the corporations. The corporations are making money off of the destruction that they're doing, and that's going to be the hard thing to solve, is getting that money. And it's not going to happen. And I hate to be a poop on everything, and I'm sorry, I'm a doomer. I'm right up there on the Humpty Dumpty tribe, Collapse Chronicles. That's me. I'm a doomer. I'm sorry. I'm like, enjoy life while you still can, But that's the problem with the solution, is like there is no solution that will work at this point. We're too far gone. We could slow it down maybe if we're lucky, and that's what I'm hoping to do because of my kids. And luckily they didn't have kids of their own. But we still need to push and do everything we can, and maybe there'll be some kind of scientific miracle. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna stick my nose up at that if there is, but we're at a strange place where the widespread knowledge of climate change is, it's becoming mainstream. But the idea that it's too late has not become it. So like people are waking up to the fact that it's, oh my God time, right? Like, oh shit time. But
maybe and it's going to be, so that's the thing, is like you have this huge shift in consciousness around climate change. Oh, it's a thing. It's actually happening. Oh, here it is. Here's freak weather. Here's people dying. Here's, here's hurricanes. Here's, sea level rise. Here's Arctic ice being gone in a couple of years. Like, here it is. Like, so obvious and in your face that you're not gonna stop people from figuring it out, at this point, because you're gonna reach a point where people are gonna like, oh, it's so obvious, it's here it is. So you're not going to stop the knowledge from happening, and you're not going to stop people from going, okay, what do we do now? Now we got to
it's too late by the time they go, oh, what do
But
we do? Because everyone's denying it right
I
now.
know,
Meanwhile, the oceans are dying. The oceans are dying
right,
right before our eyes. There's in
right,
Australia, bats are dropping out of the trees, birds are dropping out of the trees because of the heat. Hundreds of thousands of cows have died because of the flood and the heat.
right.
How many signals do they need before they realize that this is real and it's happening? I don't,
Well,
it's beyond me.
well, it's to the point now where I think, the mass of the population knows. The majority, the people that don't know or don't think it's happening are quickly they're dropping. The numbers are dropping, and so everybody is getting to the point where everybody knows. Okay, this is what it is, and then you have the powers that be like scrambling to keep that's maybe that's the whole point of Trump being in office, is because he's just the biggest fattest liar who has controlled the minds of a bunch of people, so he can just be like, nope, it's not happening, and everybody's like, see, told you so. And how long is that going to last? It's only going to last. He's not going to, he can't do that for 6 more years or how long he thinks he's going to be in office. Like he can't even do that for 2 more years. It's too obvious. It's
Well,
too
God, I hope so. But some people are so stubborn; they believe everything he says, no matter how much you can prove that what he said was
right.
different than facts because it's on videotape. It's
But
it's
even and even
documented.
the knowledge that he knows is getting out there. I mean, he has, there's seawalls being built at his course in
Yeah,
Ireland because
yeah.
of climate change. He knows it's real. He's just,
I know he knows. You know he
but
knows.
he can't keep lying. He can't. There's only so long that he can keep going. Like, it's a joke at this point. Like,
But
come
my
on.
parents still believe him. My sister, my brother.
Right. I
Okay,
know. I know.
when you get your family and you see them believing this crap, it's like those are my family. I was
Yeah.
raised with them. How that it makes absolutely no sense that they can still believe that crap. And they do though. They do.
Right.
Those are
But
of course I'm in Utah. I'm a really in a really, really, really right wing state. So, the
oh,
culture
okay.
and all that
Right.
um has probably a lot to do with that. The,
Sure.
the way they were raised, the Mormon thing and all that. So
Sure.
I'm not Mormon, never have been.
Okay.
But my parents were raised that way.
Got it. Yeah.
So maybe this is where I'm from, where I get a little disturbed about Trump supporters and never wanting to change or
Sure.
think or figure things out at all. I
Sure.
don't know.
No, I mean, there's plenty of those people out there, but I also think that I think that it's just going to become so obvious that there's no way to explain it away. There's no way to deny it. There's just going to and climate disasters are going to come and kick people's asses no matter where you are. Like whether you're in Utah or whether you're in, it's going to affect everybody at some point. And at some point, you're not going to be able to say like this is just normal, or this is just coincidence, or just happened out of nowhere. Like it's too overwhelming.
Right. You
But
know
it's
how
going
I
to be,
started doing
huh?
this? Like my
How's
first
that?
videos were traveling between here, Idaho, and Wyoming, and I would drive by reservoirs. The first year I went by, they were all full, and then the next years, I'd look and they're like empty, and there's all these
Wow.
mines opening up around them. I have video of it. It's on my channel, way earlier. When I first
Okay.
started it last summer, and
Yeah.
there's just empty reservoirs, like nothing. There's like no water, and they're fracking and doing all that stuff up by Vernal, Utah, hellhole because babies are dying, like stillbirths, all kinds of stuff because of the fracking. The air in Vernal was worse than 100 million cars in
Wow.
a 30,000 people town. It was their emissions were equal to 30 million cars, which is equal by way to the LA basin.
Right.
in a 30,000 people town. So, when you see stuff like that, and I researched what was going on, and I was watching the landscapes disappear. There's a scenic viewpoint. It's the Flaming Gorge Scenic Byway, and used to be able to go there and see plateau, all 360 view. There's plateaus and gorgeous views. Well, the next year it was, well, maybe there was a view for 180-degree
Right.
turn, and then the next time I went up there, I don't know, it was maybe views, a little one direction you could look and see a view because of all the
Right.
mining that they were doing around there, where there's
Wow.
dinosaur bones and fossils and all that, and they're just
Yeah.
blasting it and tearing it apart and plowing it down, and that's why I could not stand to look at that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
I
really
didn't interrupt,
frightening.
but yeah.
No. Yeah. No. Uh, I mean, yeah, everywhere is being decimated, and that's beautiful country. I've driven through Utah a bunch, and I've driven through Utah and Idaho a few times, and like just amazing country. I love it up there. It's really beautiful, and I had the same experience driving up through like the tip of Nevada into Oregon, and, like through California, and
Mm,
there were a bunch of lakes up there. I was driving like the back road. I took the back road over the mountains, like into Portland or over to the 5, and there were a bunch of lakes. The same thing, like what used to be lakes were just like puddles. And I was like driving. I was like, where did the lake go? There used to
I
be a big
know.
ass lake. You're like, what? And I saw like a bunch of those, like not one, like a bunch. And I was like, oh, that was maybe 4 years ago, and um, heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. Yeah.
But that's the water that's going away too, and since they're pumping hundreds of gallons of water out to use for the mining, once that they use it for the mining, it's poisoned, and we don't even know what chemicals are in it because it's proprietary. They can't tell you what chemicals they're using for the fracking. So even
Right.
if you get the water back, it's poison. It's poison.
Right. Yeah.
So that stuff is just devastating to me. It's just and
True.
and yeah. So I was going to do questions the last 15 minutes. So plan on that.
Okay.
We
I
have
don't know. I don't know where we're at.
we have 10 more minutes before 6:45 your time.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have 10 more minutes to discuss really heavy topics, and I'll probably have to get you on again because I have this huge giant list of topics I've
That's a lot of topics.
What?
That's a lot of topics. Well, I mean, if you
Yeah.
just dive into any of them, or pick one,
Pick one.
or
Oh my
none at
God.
all. I don't know.
Okay, we could go into the God complex.
The God complex.
Yeah, people having the God complex, thinking that they can play around with nature and fix it and all that, and how they think they're all powerful, but they're not all caring. I mean, I'm sorry, I
Right.
twist that around. God's supposed to be all powerful and all caring, which that can happen. You can't be all powerful and all caring with everything going on in the world. But that's the same as people. They're all, they think they're all powerful, and they're definitely not caring. So, how does that influence the decisions that they make as far as putting economies above ecologies and just making decisions because they think they know better and they'll still be able to survive even if they take away this ecosystem of this endangered species while the economy is more important. So that's a Utah thing too because they just made a law about that.
About.
Well, economic considerations when considering
Oh yeah.
endangered species. Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't for Utah. It was Utah people who wrote the bill. So
So
endangered.
you
Yeah.
can't you can't do anything for the ecosystems if it gets in the way of economic affairs. Is that?
Yeah, they
what I'm-
wanted to change the Endangered Species Act I think it's still going through, but I don't think it's I don't think it's passed yet. God, I hope not. But they'd have to make economic considerations on which animals should be
Mhm.
protected and which ones shouldn't. So if there's, say,
Just
mining available there,
right.
that's more important than saving a species.
Just
It's yeah,
bizarre.
it's Utah.
Did
Okay.
and didn't I just saw something recently that our brains are like 20% smaller or something than they were a few hundred years ago, or
Well,
maybe a few
yeah, we're
thousand years
being
ago.
we're being programmed by consumerism on TV, and they're dumbing down the news so we're not intellectually stimulated anymore.
We're not,
It's
yeah,
like weather and traffic, like that's their focus. Weather and traffic, and then the occasional big movie star news or the Russia bull
yeah,
crap or stupid crap. Not anything that requires critical thinking skills. I mean,
right.
they're eliminating critical thinking skills in the populace. I think that
Oh
was
yeah,
another one of
absolutely.
the topics that I had written down.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, and that's, so you mix the lack of critical thinking skills or the lack of, just awareness of your environment or of others or of other species or of the earth as a whole, and you eliminate all that, and then you have, but you put, you have these people like running the show or running corporations or making
Right.
decisions about, yeah, I mean, our big problem is speciesism, that is just totally pounded into us. Like there's just no, that's actually, that's something that's, I think, hard for a lot of people to even see, like to even question the fact that that we
That
operate
we're
as if we're more,
animals.
no, that we're not animals, that we're not animals. We're more important. We are above. We can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
whatever
that's what
we
I'm
want.
saying. It's
We have,
hard for them to
you know,
understand that we are animals and we depend on the rest of the
right.
animals in our ecosystem to survive. That's
Exactly.
what they don't get. That's kind of the God complex. And that's
But
kind of what I'm
tell
thinking.
somebody they're an animal. They're just an animal, and they'll like freak out. They'll freak out on you. Not, like some people might understand it, but there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people. Like if I said that on Facebook, like a bunch of people would be like, "What are you talking about? F you," or like whatever.
I
I said something
know.
about speciesism one day, and people were like, it was crickets. And somebody was like, "Really? Speciesism?
Really?
What? What is that?" Or that's a problem. I'm like, okay, yeah, you
Definitely a
we're in a
problem.
first grade classroom talking about trigonometry, and like you just, and that's the thing, is that you just, you know people are not aware enough of what, of some basic concepts of like living, and a lot of that is not, is, obviously due to our being raised in this society and raised in this paradigm, raised in this civilization,
Mhm.
and not, raised in nature, or, um, in balance with the land. And, we're fully cut off from like what we used to be. There was a time maybe like 50 or 60 or 70 years ago where people were still like maybe farming or raising, they had animals. They were closer to the land. They were not fully cut off. Where people today live in boxes, they get in their box, they drive to their box, they work in their box, they get in their box, they drive home. Like they go out to a box. You know, and
Yeah.
even nature, even going out to nature is get in your box, drive out to nature. Like go get out, get your box out, take a picture of the nature, get it back in your box. Like we're
Yeah.
complete
No, that's true. I
we're
was raised in the
completely
country,
and utterly
so
cut off, you
yeah.
know?
My backyard growing up was a mountain. And
Yeah.
so I think, maybe I still have a little bit more connection with nature than a lot of people because that's how I was raised. I mean, my backyard was literally a mountain. I'd go up and go see ponds and just hike everywhere, rock climb, just explore my environment. That was my backyard. So being in the city has been really hard for me. This is a small town, sort of, but it's not,
Are you
it's
north or south Utah?
Am I what?
North or South Utah?
I am northern Utah.
Mm, okay.
So outside, about 45 minutes outside of Salt Lake. That
Okay.
gives you an idea. So
Right.
west of Salt Lake. So
Got it.
towards Nevada.
Right. 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 Like off the 80
Yeah,
ish. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, that, I mean, that must have been a great way to grow up. I mean,
It
I
was.
grew up, I was like suburban kid. I grew up in LA. Like, obviously there was more nature here, but I completely grew up urbanized,
But you didn't
in
lose
an
your
urbanized.
attachment to it, and I think that's the problem is a lot of people are not attached to nature. They see themselves above nature, not a part of nature, not dependent on nature in any way.
Or
And
afraid, like completely afraid of nature and like,
yeah, I've seen those too.
abhorrent of nature. Like they're like, ooh, like
Ew, bug.
insects, dirt,
Ew. I got
animals.
bit
Like
by a rattlesnake, and I'm still not afraid to go into the mountains.
that's cool. Or not, I mean, getting bit is not cool, but
Yeah, it is. I get to say that I got bit by a
you can say,
rattlesnake. That's pretty freaking cool.
what
So
happened?
we were
Did you
camping. I was running around in flip flops, and I got bit by a baby rattlesnake, which is the worst, by the way, not a
It's
big
the
one.
most poisonous kind. Yeah.
Yeah, had to be rushed to the hospital, and I'm just
Oh,
laughing
geez.
and joking the whole time. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it through.
But I thought I'd just get a shot of antivenom and then go back camping. Turns out that's not the way it works.
That's not what happens.
I was in the hospital for 2 days, 2 nights.
Wow.
Miserable. But yeah, but I get to say I got bit by a rattlesnake and stay
Yeah.
alive.
And
So
and live to tell the tale. Yeah.
exactly.
Amazing.
So you want to handle some questions, guys? Get
Okay.
ready. I got to put on my old lady specs because I'm blind, like really bad. I can't read very well.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's getting old. Okay, guys, answer or ask your questions. Let me see. Go northern Utah, going south. Okay, I'm reading comments. Waiting for their comments. Okay, I said comments in 15 too. So, okay, here we go. Human asks, what are the best personal actions we can take to positively affect climate change, if anything? That was from Independent Outsider.
That's personal. You gotta start by reducing your footprint in all areas. It's not just reducing carbon, your carbon output, but I would say, overall consumption would be the first and
Growing your own
foremost.
food, maybe.
Huh?
Growing your own food, getting things local,
Yeah.
probably.
Growing your own food, getting things local. I mean, just
Consuming less.
right. Take the consumer lifestyle down a whole bunch of notches. Like just starting with that is like the first step. And then there's you can get really deep in it. There, like I'm in the middle of being just like living like a normal, whatever normal is, normal life, and being conscious of my impact on the world. And it's very difficult. It's a big struggle for a lot of people, but there are people that watch my channel that are way deeper into off the grid. There's people that live in yurts, and there's people that live off grid and live up in the mountains and grow all their own food and have their own water source, and all of it. I'm not even there yet. I'm just I'm
I was
struggling
looking
to.
at it. Got to sell our house here.
That's how you got there.
320 acres in Nevada that are calling my
Nice.
name right now. So I could live more like that. Okay, more questions.
Yeah.
You ready? Okay,
Yep.
this is just really quick. This one's for me, but I'll answer it super fast. Do you have a scar from your snake bite? Yes, but it's so small you can hardly see it. Okay.
Wait, I
Osama,
have a question. How old were you when you got snake bit?
it was a year and a half ago.
Oh, just recently. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's fairly recent. ruined the whole summer vacations. But yeah,
Boo.
camping. It's sad. Okay, Osama. Question for Kevin. Do you observe corporations actually trying to take advantage of climate change? Oh, well, that's from Independent Outsider, like profiting off of climate change. That's a really good question because they'll profit off of anything they can. So, what do you think, Kevin?
Well, they're already doing shipping, right? Arctic shipping, and that's the first sign I can see, I guess. And there's a lot, like tourism, climate change. I think climate change tourism is going to be like a thing. Like I've heard people talking about, oh, I'm going to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro before the glacier's gone, or the Himalayas before the ice is all gone, or go see these animals before they're all. I actually heard a commercial for like the Aquarium of the Pacific, which is a local aquarium, and they're like, come see the frogs before they're all gone. This is on TV, and I was
That's
like, come
insane.
see the frogs
No one
before they're all
thinks twice
gone.
about
Like
it.
what? Well, yeah, I was just like totally glib, like, oh yeah, they're gonna be gone soon, so come look at them. What the, I was like, oh my God, what universe am I living in? Anyways, yeah. So, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do more. They're gonna think of more disgusting and devious, ways. I mean, the most cynical thing that's happening is, climate change isn't real. So let's go, go capitalism, go industrial civilization. That's what Trump is doing right now. Like, just, they know it's real, and they're trying to tell everybody, don't look over here because we want to keep doing this over here. And they know what they're doing, and it's disgusting.
Okay, I've got a really good example of that, though, what they're doing here in Utah, and they've done it for the whole United States before. Have you heard of Cash for Clunkers? Obama did it, and they're trying to do that locally here. Okay. And they sell that as
green. It's like a green thing.
Yeah. So what you do is you turn in your car, they munch it up, so it's no longer in the available for sale or anything. So they get rid of the competition, which takes a lot of energy to do that, for one, to melt it down and whatever. And then they sell you a brand new car with that's more economic. But that hurts.
Yeah.
Not only the environment, because reusing that car would cost a lot less energy than smeltering down one and building a new one, right? So,
or converting that car.
The auto industry is being pumped up,
right? Or converting car. You could actually up the mileage on an older car. There's things you could do, or you know what I'm saying. You could like retool. Like I had an old VW bus that a local university bought the bus and fitted it out with batteries and made it an electric bus. So like that's something that's way more green you could do than rather than like buying a whole new car or whatever, or
trashing it,
repurposing the vehicle, whatever.
Yeah, it's still reusing. Our oldest car is a 1939, and we go up to a 2007, which is brand new for me, which is fine.
Yeah.
And actually, the older ones get way better gas mileage, and you can run them on moonshine if you had to. I mean, they're awesome that way. And if we had one of those solar flare things that caused all the electricity to go out, those old cars would still go.
Yeah. Absolutely right. The electronics wouldn't get knocked out. Well, yeah, and I mean, I guess you could say that like, converting the whole economy to like electric cars could be profiting off of climate change on some level, right? You're like, hey guys,
definitely is. You can't though, because then you have to destroy all those other cars, and you're not using them, and building all the cars you'd have to build to replace the older cars is consuming a lot of energy, probably by fossil fuels. We don't have the ability to make an entire car with just electricity, renewable energy at this point,
Right.
Not that I know of. I mean, if you know of something different that I don't know, please let me know. But and then okay, just going off of that, I know there's people concerned that the government and the corporations are going to try to monetize the Green New Deal. Comments on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, there is a lot of talk about that, and that's part of the Green New Deal is, retooling, the entire infrastructure to be more green and having smart grids, which, a lot of people are scared about the control aspect of everybody being hooked into a smart grid. And that is concerning. And again, yes, that's a way to profit off climate change that may or may not be very good for people or the environment in the long run. The Green New Deal is not, a perfect, there's a lot of problems with it, but I think it's harder, at least. I mean, we're not even close. We haven't even been close to talking about a realistic climate change solution until, there was a the original Green New Deal, I think, was like 2006 written up, but like it was nowhere, it was, publicized. No, like there was very little, publication on it. Not a lot of people knew about it. Not a lot of people knew what the ins and outs were, and it just died. It just languished in Congress. And so, we have this Green New Deal now, which is getting a lot of traction and getting the eyes and ears of a lot of people. And I think, it's just at least people can talk about it. At least people can be like, oh, this is a problem, and here's possibly some things that we could do, even though most of them are going to fall short, and even though some of them are actually probably bad for the environment, and even though, but at least the conversation has to start somewhere, and then we can go, we can start the conversation and move on to like, okay, I know actually what we need to be doing is, this. Oh, and what about geoengineering, and what are we going to do about global dimming, or what are we going to do about carbon sequestration, or what,
Yeah, there's so many what abouts, but getting the conversation started gets people maybe researching it a little, maybe.
Exactly.
Gets them going. I'm less about the political horse races and this and that. I care less about the politics. There's so much more going on right now, and I don't think those politicians are going to solve diddly squat for us. I will still vote for the most progressive, the most concerned with the climate change and all that, just because that's me. But I don't have any hope that they will actually do anything positive, unless we're out in the streets pushing them to. So
I agree. I think it's, it's unfortunate that it's going to come to that, because you're going to have this conversation, Green New Deal, and your conversation for the next 2 years, and then people are going to realize, oh yeah, because we're going to get Trump or Biden or somebody shoved down our throats. We're going to get the same thing we've been getting. It's gonna, it's not going to fundamentally change anything unless people really get out there and demand something different. And that's probably where it's going to end up. Yeah,
you're gonna have to do that.
So why not start now? Start sooner than later.
Yeah, let's hope. Okay, we have a lot more questions. I need to stop chiming in so much myself and actually let the people talk, because I prefer let those people talk. Okay, I wish people would have a name that I can freaking pronounce. So there's JTHAD Cast.
JTHADcast.
What?
JTHADcast.
JTHADcast. Yeah. Okay. All right. One of your fans. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, you have more live viewers than I even had with Guy. By the way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we have 30. We have 32.
What?
Well, at least the same. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
That's cool. And no announcement. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me get back to JTHADcast. How do you talk climate change to adults with new kids? Oh God, I'm sorry. Oh my God.
You don't? No,
I
that's
don't.
a joke. No.
No, seriously, I don't. I can't.
My
I
friend just
mentioned
told
it
me
before they
like
went pregnant or they got pregnant, and then I'm
yeah,
like,
a
okay.
friend of mine just told me she was pregnant last night, and I was like, "Yay!" You know, like
Yeah,
what
you have
else
to
are you
do
gonna say?
the
You know, I don't know.
yay, congratulations. I don't
It's
know.
I mean,
Oh,
you know, I don't know. I don't know. You really have to. I think the best way is to kind of just put the information out there. Maybe not. Maybe straight to somebody's face. If you feel like the person can handle it, or if you feel like you're in a position to have that conversation with somebody, then go ahead and have that conversation. But I wouldn't necessarily just blurt it out, and I wouldn't spring that conversation on somebody now, knowing what I know and having these experiences that I've had in the last few years. Like I just wouldn't do that to people now because it's like does not compute, like you put that information on people and they're just like, I don't, they're either going to shut it down or they're going to shut it out or they're going to shut down. And
yeah,
I
I've heard
think
them
you have to kind
shut it
of,
out. Shut it. They
yeah.
just shut it out. That's my experience. Is when they're there at that age where they want to have kids, they shut it out.
Oh yeah.
They don't
Oh,
want to hear
absolutely. Actually, people, especially mothers with kids, don't want to hear this for nothing. They don't want to hear this at all. Like
I'm
especially
a
new
mother,
parents.
but I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it for a long time. So,
Yeah, but not a mother with an infant, no way. But the thing
uh,
is you have to just kind of put the information out there. I think, like, you know
a
what I mean.
little.
You can just shoot it off the starboard or bow, whatever it is. I'm not a sailor, but like I think I got that backward. But just put the
I know.
information out there so that they can kind of see it in the sky like a firework. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
maybe not straight ahead, but just like if you're talking about it over here, they go like, "What's that?" Like
Yeah,
you kind
talk
of
to another friend that agrees with you and just say,
have a
"Oh,"
conversation at a dinner party, but
in
like
front
with
of.
somebody else over here. Like that.
Yes, I've done that before. I've used that tactic. That actually works quite well. Okay, we gotta get there's some more comments. We only have like 2 minutes. If you've got to go at, do you have to go at 7?
I I mean I've got about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I
Okay.
do have to go.
Do you have, wait, I already asked that one. I asked that one. Um, Human wants to know when you broadcast live YouTube streams.
I don't have a specific time. I was doing like once a week, and then I think I missed last week because I have actually a music project I'm working on, so it's kind of I'm a little bit indisposed. But I'm thinking I'm going to do a live one maybe this weekend. So I don't know the date or time, but I will announce it on my channel. So maybe Sunday night
Sweet.
or Saturday night. I don't know.
Lovely.
One of those nights. I'm going to try. I won't do one without letting y'all know.
Okay, cool. Because I watch all of yours. Every time it's Blackburn News, I click on it and watch it or listen to
Cool.
it while I'm driving. So that's a
Cool.
must. So if you announce it there, I'll hear it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody here will also do the same because, yeah, I think you have a lot of fans. Okay, Trev B5, are you as defeatist as Guy McPherson?
Probably not. Probably not. I it's I accept the science. There's no at the same time I think like I don't know. I don't really have a differing opinion as far as I think Guy McPherson says do everything you can, do right action, take right action, and do the right thing and make positive steps towards change, and that's
Just don't be attached to the outcome.
don't be attached to the outcome. Exactly.
I agree with that.
And I'm totally on board with that. I'm probably maybe but I'm probably closer to maybe being someone who might go out and make more like political statements, or maybe like urge for action or change in the political arena or in the social arena. So maybe that's maybe a bit of a difference, but I don't know. I don't really see a huge gap.
I don't see a huge gap either, other than you say there should be no-go zones for humans, like just let nature be in certain places. And I so agree with that. There should be many more
Yeah,
places where people are exempt. Like you're not
just
allowed. This is nature
not yeah.
only. Leave it
Just don't
alone.
go there.
I agree with that.
Just
As
let
much
it
as I love
let it.
nature,
Yeah.
that would be so hard for me, but I do agree that there should be places
But I
that
think that there's plenty of nature for humans to be in. We don't need it all. Like we don't have
right.
to have all.
No, I agree.
Like just, but the other thing too that I guess might be a difference is that I like to talk about if we were to do something, on a global scale, what would it be? Like, what are the steps? What's the plan? What should it, like I like to talk about those ideas because it's interesting to me.
Oh
It
yeah.
might be futile. I understand that it's futile on some level, but I also understand that like people are going to want to do things pretty soon. They're pretty
Yeah.
soon on a global scale. People are going to be like, "What do we do?" And if everybody's sitting around like, "I don't know," like
Well,
I
they're going
don't
to
know,
shoot
then
off a
people are going to
nuclear
do all the
bomb.
stupid stuff.
Okay,
Right.
I'm not going to get stuck into this topic. I'm hoping I'll get to be able to talk to you again because there's so many more
Yeah.
things. But I'm going to let you answer because we only it's already 8:02, so hopefully you can answer just a couple more questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so or I'll read a statement. Yes to cranberries is the best thing you can do is not breed. It far outweighs anything else than plant stuff. And I'd say, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what plant stuff is, but I don't know, planting
Plant
stuff.
trees.
Yeah,
Plant
plant a tree.
trees.
Plant a tree.
Plant
We could use a few
plants.
trillion more trees on the planet. That would be good.
Do it.
These bad casts, you don't just let them live in the illusion. Okay. Okay.
Well, I
Hero.
mean, I get it's hard. It's a really tough thing because
Mm.
the illusion is, ever the illusion is people's identity. Their entire identity is wrapped up in the illusion. So if you know, I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, eventually the illusion is going to fall anyways because people are going to understand what the hell is going on, and then they're going to be like, "Oh my god,
Jay
I don't."
Thadcast says to Bio 2.0. I'm sure that's another person on the stream or in the chat. I give them the happily sad look. You know your child will die horribly. I think I've tried
Mm,
that one too.
yeah,
Oh, I
there's
should
not
say
really an
that.
easy way to do it.
It's hard. No matter, I don't know. I just get uneasy. Okay, any more questions? Let's see. There's a lot of comments, tons, so sorry. And you know how they talk amongst themselves. Am I missing any questions, Osama? Okay, I'm just going to go to the end because I'm not going to make the trail there. Osama, did I miss any questions? Or Indie, Outsider? Please tell me. Human, did I miss any? Sorry, these are my moderators. They're supposed to be keeping track for me because it's so hard to pay attention to who you're talking to and also the chat, especially
Sure.
when you have this many people on, which I'm not used to, and I'm brand new at this. So, okay, well, oh wait, here we go. That mashup. Do you think elites know all this climate information and won't say anything to avoid panic?
Absolutely. They
Yes,
absolutely know.
I think so
And
too.
they're going to keep it under wraps as long as they possibly can. They're doing their best, and they're doing a pretty good job. They've got a lot of people,
Yeah, they absolutely do.
asleep.
Okay. The proper energy sources for areas regional. How should towns choose their power sources? Wind, solar, etc.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty specific question as to it would have to be whatever works best for a certain area, of course. Obviously, Southwest is solar. A lot of places would be, either geothermal or wind. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. We have to really power down, though. We have to figure out a way to like,
Live without so much power. We definitely have to
yeah,
reduce our power usage and our population if we're to have any chance at all. Because we can't handle another
exactly.
doubling of population. We've doubled since 1965. We can't handle another doubling. So,
Not at all. We're not
I
going to
think,
make it. We're not going to make it to 10
yeah,
million or whatever it is they say we're going to make it to.
exactly. So I
I
think we
just, I
made
don't
it
see.
through all the questions. Awesome. I know you have to go. So hopefully I didn't miss any. Hopefully I didn't miss any. I tried not to. But and hopefully you'll talk to me again sometime soon.
Sure. Yeah. You do it
In
again.
about a month or so. Don't want to do too
Sounds
often.
good. I've been very lax on doing interviews on my channel and interviews with other people, but I really enjoy doing this. So like, yeah, just
This is my
email.
favorite format. I like the interviews. I like the
Yeah,
conversation. I like to chat with the people online. So
for sure.
I'll force you to do one once a month.
Yeah. Well, just shoot me an email and I'll probably say okay.
All right. Cool. Well, you did this
Sounds good.
time, so it's all good. And I really, really appreciate you. Hey everybody, thank you so much for
See you
popping
guys.
in. I am so happy so many people showed up to this. Hey, Kevin's more popular than Guy. Go figure.
No.
He's awesome. And I told you he was awesome in my video promoting this video. So
Okay.
now you know I'm telling you the
Well,
truth.
that's why it is. That's why everybody's here. You promoted the show, so that's cool.
I promoted Guy too.
Well, there you go.
Of course you
Well,
had a couple more days, but
I don't know. Yeah.
I do that. All right, sweet. Okay, well, guy. Oh my God, I forget who I'm talking to. I've had a long day at work too.
That's
Um,
all right.
that's the end of my day. It's the beginning of your day, right?
The end of your name?
Uh-huh.
Say what?
the the end of my day. The beginning of your day. Don't you start late like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm lost.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
on my
All right.
like sixth cup of coffee. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well, say goodbye to everybody. There's so many awesome people on
See
there.
you guys.
South Osama, Mad. I don't even know.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next video.